The Chinese government has issued a series of earnest warnings against a planned visit to Taiwan by U.S. Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, in order to prevent further worsening of relations between China and the U.S., the two arguably most powerful nations in the world.
我们正严阵以待，如果美方一意孤行，中方必将采取坚定有力措施，捍卫国家主权和领土完整，由此造成的一切严重后果，应由美方负责。
As expected, the Taiwan question was highlighted during a phone conversation between Chinese President Xi Jinping and his U.S. counterpart Joe Biden. President Xi noted the historical facts of the Taiwan question are crystal clear, and so is the fact and the status quo that both sides of the Taiwan Strait belong to one and the same China. He stressed that the One China principle is the political foundation for China-U.S. relations, and it is the firm will of the more than 1.4 billion Chinese people to safeguard national sovereignty and territorial integrity. President Xi went on to say that the public opinion cannot be defied. Those who play with fire will perish by it. For President Biden, he reiterated that the U.S. One China policy has not changed and will not change, and that the U.S. does not support Taiwan independence. But the U.S. commitment to the One China principle is to be seriously tested in the much-discussed Pelosi visit. Pelosi ranks third in the U.S. government after the president and the vice president. She would be the most senior U.S. official to visit Taiwan in 25 years, amounting to a grave violation of the One China principle, which allows only unofficial exchanges. The visit would embolden the secessionist forces on the island. While the Taiwan question is an unresolved issue of the Chinese Civil War, the international community respects the One China principle, meaning that Beijing is the sole legitimate representative of China and that Taiwan is part of China. That principle was made clear in 1979 when the U.S. and China forged diplomatic ties.
The United States recognizes the government of the People's Republic of China as a sole legal government of China. The government of the United States of America acknowledges the Chinese position that there is but one China and Taiwan is part of China.
The U.S. has been eager to discuss establishing guardrails with China to defuse possible conflicts. But isn't the One China principle the primary and fundamental guardrail both should observe to avoid any conflict? Nancy Pelosi seems to understand there are consequences to her visit.
If the inference to draw from your comment is that my going there is problematic, I think what the president was saying is maybe the military was afraid our plane would get shot down or something like that.
It's unlikely the Chinese military would shoot down her plane, but just mentioning it reveals the gravity of the matter. Besides Beijing, regional countries, including U.S. allies, are also deeply worried. Paul Keating, the former Australian Prime Minister, is probably the most outspoken one on the potentially catastrophic decision by Pelosi. Inside the U.S., some China scholars are also warning against Pelosi's Taiwan visit, calling it a dangerous gamble. If the U.S. greenlights Pelosi's visit, which would render Biden's One China commitment almost meaningless, they should be held fully accountable for whatever consequences may occur, and China would be forced to take forceful measures to defend its sovereignty. With scorching heat waves, devastating food crises, an ongoing Ukraine war, severe energy shortages, and soaring inflation, what the world needs least now is a new crisis. But will Pelosi get the message?